I have owned the 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash for just about 3 months, and in the 4,000 miles that I've driven this truck, I have learned a lot. And there are some things I really like, and there are some things that I can't stand. So let's talk about it. Before I picked up the F-150 Lightning, I actually owned the Power Boost, and the Power Boost is the hybrid version of the F-150. I made a video all about why I thought it was a fantastic vehicle for so many people. But after owning the Power Boost for just about 3 years, I found myself kind of wanting to get an EV again. I really love what EVs do, and I love the speed and the power, and I just love everything about them while still having a vehicle that does everything my Power Boost did. The problem I quickly ran into is that when I started to look at EVs again, I realized that there really was only one vehicle that had all the exact features that I grew to love about the Power Boost, and that was the F-150 Lightning. But in the short time having this, I can say there are some things that are making me second guess whether or not this would be my long-term vehicle, but we'll get to those. Let's first talk about some of the things I absolutely love about the Lightning. Now, it's great having a pickup truck. Anyone who's had one knows that once you have a pickup, it's really hard to have anything else. But when you have a pickup that has all the space a pickup has, with all the features a pickup has, and then you also add one of the greatest things ever, and that is more space in what is considered the frunk, well, now you're talking about a full-size pickup with a really big interior cab, plus additional storage in the front with some hidden features. So not only do you get more space to store stuff, like this is a lot of space, but you even get this little hidden compartment for more space, but also a drain that you can actually use this as a cooler. Fill this up with drinks and ice, drive down the road, have it for tailgating, whatever you're doing, and this just drains to the ground. So you have a legit cooler. Also in the frunk, you get even more power outlets. I talked about the fact that one of my favorite features of the Power Boost was that I had so many power outlets available and Pro Power on board to be able to power anything from it. But the Lightning adds even more power to that Pro Power on board and has 4 additional power outlets plus USB-C and USB-A chargers in the frunk. But these aren't just power outlets that you can power maybe like a tablet with. This is a 9.6 kilowatt generator built into this truck. So you can power your flat screen TVs, you can power microwaves, you can power air fryers, you can make this the ultimate tailgate vehicle. And it really is useful having that. You still get your 4 additional power outlets in the bed of the truck as well as a 220. So you still can power just about anything back here. You still get that power lift gate. You get bottle openers on the side. You get rulers with all these different clamp positionings to actually do some heavy duty man work. I don't do much of that, but that's okay. But the interior of the Lightning is really where there are some unique things like this really large 17-inch touchscreen vertical masterpiece. But it's also the thing, oddly enough, that I actually hate the most about this truck. You see, all electric vehicles these days have these massive screens and you basically control everything from the screen, which is nice in concept until you have what I think is an extremely underpowered computer running this actual system. What that means in real life is that when you are operating the screen and going between different apps, especially when you first start up the vehicle, everything is so slow. If I hit this to go to Sirius XM, that wasn't intentional. Seriously, that's what I'm talking about. You're sitting and waiting for everything to come on. Now, you may say that's not that big of a deal, you can wait. And it's even worse when you first turn on the vehicle, which is most of the time what I want to do. If I get in the vehicle and it's instantly colder than I wanted or warmer, the first thing I want to do is change heated seats or change the heated steering wheel, and I'm always waiting. It's so slow. I wish they would have kept this more like the Power Boost, where you actually had all your climate control stuff as hardware buttons that were very easily to just press and access, and they didn't have to wait for the computer, and it just worked, and it was much cleaner and easier to use. This one's all touchscreen, and I personally just think it looked better in the other configuration regardless. I know this is the attractive thing everyone likes, but I just think it's kind of slow. And I hate when companies try to go so software-based, but yet they use a computer from like 1999 to run it.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
The screen is really nice when you're talking about the full 360 view that you get of the vehicle, and you can have all your different views here, seeing in front of it, the tailgate, the hitch when you're connecting to it, and having this nice big screen is awesome for that. This 360 view here is really, really good when you're actually parking to be able to see around you. So I really like it from that perspective. When it comes to range, let's just say results may vary. It's very important to understand what you can actually expect from range in this truck. It's currently December here in the Northeast, which means it's pretty cold out. And when you have much colder weather, EVs definitely lose a lot of range. So do gas vehicles. The rated range on the F-150 Lightning is 325 miles. Let me just tell you that you will not get that. I promise you, and you will not even get close to that. Now, almost every EV vehicle I've ever had has not gotten the amount of range it says. And of course, it's going to matter more in the winter. Right now, as an example, I have 87% charge and I have 207 miles of range remaining. Now, I will say that Ford does a very good job of that range actually being accurate, and it's entirely based on how you're driving. So if I were to suddenly drive and become much more efficient with the way that I'm driving, that would change very quickly, where some companies will give you a much higher rated range, but you won't get that regardless. I at least like that I can trust that that number is going to be accurate. But in the winter, I'm only getting about 1.2 to 1.7 miles to kilowatt hour, which if you're new to EVs, that's basically how many miles you get per kilowatt hour. And every vehicle has a different size kilowatt hour battery. The F-150 Lightning has a 131 kilowatt hour battery, meaning at 1.2 miles to kilowatt hour, you're going to get roughly, I'll put it on the screen here. But in comparison, my Power Boost, I could get in upwards of 600 miles to a tank. Now it costs over $100 to fill that tank, but I could go a long way. But maybe that's not a big deal for most people. Now, in the 4,000 miles I've had this vehicle, I've driven a lot. Obviously, 4,000 miles in 2 months is a decent amount of driving, and I've never once had to worry about the battery going dead. I've had EVs, and I don't have any issue with range anxiety. I've taken trips of over 200 miles and still got home with 30 to 35% battery life. So it absolutely gets more than that. But keep in mind, in the winter, that is a big factor, and to some people, that may be a bigger deal. In this specific video, I'm not going to get into all the details of why I really think that even 200 miles or 250 miles is actually plenty for most people. We're going to make another whole video about that. There are a lot of, let's just call them EV myths that people have that they are completely not accurate on. Make sure you subscribe, because I have a video coming all about that, because I think that an EV makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. We'll talk about that in another video. Now, one of the biggest things people tend to always ask me is how long does it take to charge the F-150 Lightning? And honestly, I couldn't really even tell you, because the biggest convenience of an electric vehicle is that each and every day when I wake up, it's fully charged. So to me, that's one of the biggest perks. I don't really care if it takes many hours at my home level 2 charging to charge, because, well, I never know what's happening. I don't have to stop at gas stations. I don't have to go to superchargers. I don't have to wait around. Yes, an EV takes longer to charge, but not to me. And this is really the way you live with an EV, level 2 charging at your house. At my home, I actually have the Ford Charge Station Pro, which they actually had a promo going when I purchased this truck, where this was actually included free, which is amazing. It's usually about $1,000 to $2,000 to get one of these installed at your house. Specifically, the Ford Charge Station Pro is really nice because it can do up to 80 amps charging, which is awesome. You also can get the Ford Intelligent Power Backup, which actually allows that when the Lightning is plugged in, it actually can be a backup generator for your entire house, which is incredible because you can't do that with any gas vehicle. And being able to have a vehicle that already is great for your everyday use, but also you're essentially adding a generator to your home at really no additional cost, is a pretty nice feature. There are absolutely tons of stories of people that have used their Lightnings to fully run their house for days on end. And that's pretty remarkable. Now, if you've never driven an EV before, especially an F-150 Lightning, the thing that surprises people the most is the ridiculous acceleration that comes from an 8,000-pound truck. Driving an EV is unlike any other experience, and it's really surreal driving a full-size pickup with this kind of torque and power and smoothness. It's also a very quiet cabin, which is awesome because I have actually been doing some work or having conference calls or something inside the truck while I'm parked somewhere, and it's amazing just how quiet it stays in here. And especially when you factor in the EV being quiet, it's a great vehicle. As you can hear, we're on a fairly busy highway with cars passing, and it's just a very quiet interior. Now, one feature that's not unique to the Lightning, but the Lightning also does include, is Ford Blue Cruise, which is the full hands-free driving. I really, really like Blue Cruise. It's very particular about the fact that you have to keep your eyes focused on the road. So if I don't pay attention to it, you'll very quickly see that it will start beeping at me and saying, watch the road. But I really like Blue Cruise because it feels very safe. They do a very good job with it because it's all pre-mapped roads. So it doesn't try to do crazy things. It doesn't really do anything except kind of keep you in the lane. And if I turn the blinker on, it will also change lanes, but it won't do automatic lane changes. But it's very nice. It's very reliable. With that adaptive cruise control, it will also just keep the speed that I want. So if I have my max speed at 65 miles an hour, it's going to automatically go to that speed whenever it can. If a car is in front of me, it's going to slow down. Most cars have adaptive cruise control, but the hands-free will let you go hands-free as long as you're paying attention to the road and you don't look away for more than about 5 seconds. If at any point the Blue Cruise doesn't feel comfortable with the situation, whether there's a construction zone or maybe the visibility is low in weather, it will switch, and instead of being fully hands-free, it'll make you basically keep your hands on the steering wheel every 10 seconds or so, similar to what a lot of lane assist does. But anytime you're on a Blue Cruise mapped road, which is hundreds of thousands of miles around the country, you can literally just sit back and relax and it will do all the driving for you. Now, the Lightning does have impressive towing capability, and you honestly don't even feel what you're towing because of just how powerful electric vehicles are. But I will say, if you are a person that tows on a regular basis, anywhere past normally 50 to 75 miles in an entire day, I will say this is not the vehicle for you. If you regularly tow with your F-150 and you are considering whether or not this would be better because you could save some gas prices because you tow a lot, you're going to be very, very underwhelmed in terms of the range that you actually get from towing. I personally decided to go with the electric because I was actually no longer really towing anymore like I used to with my Power Boost, so I wanted more of the everyday daily driver efficiency of an EV. But I have towed a little bit with this. It's impressive how you don't feel it, but you don't expect a lot of range. Expect about 75 miles of range if you're using the full towing capability, and that's not very far. See, for the average person like me, I love having a truck because I like having a truck bed that you can throw things in. I like if you're doing yard work, you can throw crap in it and leaves and sticks and not worry about getting it messed up. And then with the addition of the front, you get even more space. And I just love having a truck because I love having a truck. So being able to have an EV that is extremely efficient, super fast and fun to drive, but yet not having to sacrifice having a V8 or something that gets 13 miles to a gallon, I think it's a perfect everyday truck because you get everything that's great about a truck while having it be extremely efficient with almost zero maintenance. That's really where the F-150 Lightning shines to me. Now, do I think this is the best full-size pickup EV that you can buy? The answer is no. But when it comes to EVs, specifically full-size pickups, prices are kind of all over the place, and they range from $60,000 to $120,000, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. Over the next bunch of months, I'm going to be actually diving into what I think are some of the best full-size pickup EVs that you can buy and comparing them to the F-150 Lightning. So if that sounds like something you may be interested in, consider subscribing because I love having trucks, but I also like having the best ones. So overall, what do I think of the Lightning in 4,000 miles driving it? So far, I think it's a great everyday truck for most people, but not for all people. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you, and lots more EV content coming. As someone who really likes EVs and really likes technology inside the EVs, I'm gonna talk a lot more about them. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already. Talk to you guys real soon.